Hey guys, welcome back to Winter Meetings here in Nashville, Tennessee. A lot going on, really not that much going on. I mean, it's a lot of nothing here. We're going to talk about it, the latest on Shohei Ohtani, some other rumors as far as other players, and then one significant signing, well, maybe not so significant, but a guy that you'll recognize. All that here on the Cubs Baseball channel. And thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and let's get this thing started. What do you say, everybody? With Chad Anderson, I'm Mick Gillispie. Here we are, Chad, in Nashville, Tennessee, and I feel like it feels like we're in the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. It feels like we're like in that Truman Show. Remember that? Like kind of just trapped in here, all the food and restaurant. You never have to leave, right?
No, you don't. Not at all. This place, you get lost pretty easy in here.
Yeah, right.
There's only 38 million staircases and restrooms and corridors. It's huge. It's massive.
Yeah, like late night. Everybody hangs out at the bars.
Yeah.
It's like no one's driving. You're here. You walk in and you're like, you see everybody. They had a thing last night for Jason Carr, who's been the Cubs media director for years, and a good guy. And I wish him the best of luck, man. You know, like you get to know those guys and you work with them over the years. So the Cubs are going to replace him at some point. But he's actually helping in the search. And then but I mean, who knows what's going to happen if the Cubs sign Shohei Ohtani? Whoever gets that job is going to have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you could say that. It's just crazy too, the anticipation. Like, you walk around here and we see people, it's not that they're having secrets, but you just see like all these random fans, jerseys, jackets, and then the polos, and you kind of see everything and everybody tucked in their own little corner and having their own meetings. But you walk by one meeting and it's like, oh, it's nothing. They're just talking about like what the price of hot dogs are going to be next year, But then you go to another one and you hear them talking about the lineup or the roster, and it's like, wait a minute, are you about to like what's going on over here in this corner?
Yeah, right.
So you get like these crazy ends of the spectrum. But what we were talking about, I think what would be good for you to kind of explain is winter meetings. Like they have the reputation of this is where everything goes down. This is like the and I made the joke to you. I was like, hell, it's 2023. We all have cell phones and Zooms and laptops and everything. Like, why do we have to get in person to make a trade or to sign a free agent or what? Like that goes on all year long. But winter meetings has that reputation. It has the facade of this is where everything kind of goes down and takes place. And in reality, that's not the case. There's a lot more that goes on here. So I just thought, like, especially you know better than most of us here, like, what takes place in these kinds of settings, because it's not just everybody huddled in a room figuring out trades.
Yeah. Like, you have a lot of different meetings, like league meetings and then affiliate meetings, and then, department meetings, so Cubs scouting might have a meeting, or, the player development might have a meeting, or the minor leagues are all here and they have their league meetings. Major League Baseball, they just did the draft lottery. So it used to be you would get together, and this is where you'd make a lot of, you mentioned them, big trades. This year, everything's held up for Shohei Ohtani. I mean, really the biggest
one domino.
Yeah, one domino, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. The only like move of significance is that Victor Caratini, the former Cub, just signed a 2-year contract, and he'll be with the Houston Astros as their catcher. So
was Maldonado a free agent, or is he going to back up Maldonado?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I didn't look either. Yeah, we'll check on that.
But I mean, I'm guessing he's probably more of a backup option.
Yeah.
And kind of a solid backup, can hit, switch hitter. We know him from him coming up with the Cubs.
Yep.
So that's it. I mean, think about that. Now, the other news is the Yankees apparently are in talks with San Diego, and if they trade for 25-year-old Juan Soto in a 1-year contract, until he's a free agent. The Padres want pitching. They want maybe 4 or 5 guys, I'm hearing. I mean, and only the Yankees would do something like that. It'd be such a Yankee move to, go and overpay, even though he's a great player. That's give up a lot of capital for a 1-year guy, but it feels like the Yankees are in that spot now. And I don't want to say desperate, but they're ready to win again and win again now. And then they've got the money to sign him anyway. So maybe they're looking at it and going, you know what, we'll when the time comes, we'll just pay him. And if he plays, good for us, and that'll be that. But Shohei Ohtani, I'm going to say this. Just talking to everybody that follows the Cubs and not Cubs people, but all the writers, the overwhelming majority think that this whole idea that he's coming to the Cubs is far-fetched reality. Yeah. That they just aren't buying into it. And they feel like, just kind of talking to them, that this is a real long shot. It feels to me like, if I put it in the terms of a baseball game, that we're in the bottom of the 7th inning and the Cubs are behind, 4-1. So it's not, I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that you can score 3 runs, tie the game, and eventually win it. But I would say that the Dodgers and the Giants, and even somehow, some way, Toronto are kind of the buzz here at winter meetings to be where he's going to end up. But who knows what's going to happen? Obviously the Cubs feel like they're in it, and Jed Hoyer's reiterated that when reports came out, that they weren't in it. And then just kind of finishing up this thought is, yesterday we hear, that Jed Hoyer was very firm with Bob Nightingale. Yep. And we thought it was
basically pissed.
He was pissed, right? But we thought it was about Ohtani. Apparently, Bruce Levine from 670 to Score, he's like, hey, it was about them including Christopher Morel's name in a trade rumor.
Yeah.
And that would make you upset. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, when I heard that and read that this morning, that honestly surprised me, because Bob Nightingale wasn't the first person to ever claim that Christopher Morel was the biggest trade piece that the Cubs probably had,
right?
Depending on who they were going to go try and get. He was linked to Juan Soto. He was linked to Pete Alonso. And then he comes up with Tyler Glasnow in Tampa Bay. And it wasn't the first time. It's not like it was some huge shock. I mean, we're not, like, if somebody came up, Mick, and said Ian Happ may be traded to get Glasnow or to get Soto or something like that, that would blow everyone away, because it hasn't happened. Like, that name hasn't surfaced whatsoever. So I was just kind of thrown off by it. And I think, I don't want to misquote, but I believe Jesse Rogers kind of said the same thing that I'm saying here. He said it first, but said the same thing, is like, hey, I don't really get the big deal. Like, everybody knew and has been talking about Morel as a centerpiece because he's MLB ready. He hit over 25 home runs last year. He's got a couple of years in the bigs. He's smashing the ball. His only thing is defense. And where do you place him on the field and try to find a spot for that glove? Or is he a DH or a little bit of both? Or what do you do? But it's no secret that he's kind of been the guy that has been a big name as far as trade talks with other teams. So I was surprised. Maybe there's more to it. I was just surprised that was the report, that Hoyer was frustrated about Morel being linked to Glasnow, because he's already been thrown out there with 2 other guys.
Yeah, like Pete Alonso too.
Yeah, Alonso and Soto.
And then Craig Counsell went on Marquee, and he was talking about needing Morel to play different positions. Like talked about how much he appreciates the fact that he can play different positions. Second base is probably his best position right now. And I would say that's, the easiest position to kind of slide a guy in with his skill set. But he's going to have to learn how to play third. They talked about him playing first. I don't know. I don't know if he's a first baseman. Maybe he is. I don't know. But center field, you got, Pete Crow Armstrong, you got Mike Tauchman, you got Alexander Canario. third base would be the spot for me if I was, if you could get him to play third base and be good at it, you'd have something there. But I thought that was interesting too, that today Craig Counsell came out and started talking about Morel. And I think that kind of goes back to, you could upset players when you talk about them being involved in trades, because if it doesn't happen, they got to come back and play for you. And there's hard feelings that could happen from that, so I just thought the timing of that made sense.
Yeah, it did. But we'll see. Like we've kind of talked about it, it's a quiet week so far. And here we are halfway through and nothing's really taken place. And we kind of keep going back to the Ohtani, because Ohtani is just such the big domino especially for the teams involved, because that launches your trajectory. Yeah. And what you're going to do and who you're going to trade or who you're going to keep and how you build around it. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of people are just kind of at this standstill at the moment and trying to figure it all out. And we have had a few like small type things happen today. The Orioles got Craig Kimbrell, former Cub. Yeah. So they got him. Dylan Cease, former Cub, has been linked to the Cincinnati Reds as a possible trade target.
And I heard that from some people that cover the Reds, that was they have the players to be able to make a trade for a Dylan Cease.
Yeah.
They want someone to kind of top off their rotation because they have a lot of young arms. Now, they had some guys that were injured, obviously Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green last year, but you're talking about a team that could end up having a bunch of pitchers. So they have the prospects to be able to go out and make a Dylan Cease trade.
Yeah. And then just a few hours ago was reported that the Yankees, and you mentioned this, they've intensified talks and trying to figure out how to make a Juan Soto deal happen. And then Aaron Boone has said DJ LeMahieu, again, former Cub, is going to play third base for the Yankees in 2024. So it looks like that position for New York has been locked down. So again, some minor, maybe mid-major-ish activity with a flurry of rumors here and there, but again, nothing big as of yet.
Well, we're going to be here. I mean, we're just because we're not on live doesn't mean that we're not doing stuff. So we're actually going to try to get some of our friends to jump on here with us that cover the Cubs. We'll be popping back and forth all the next couple of days with videos and content. So make sure that you guys stay tuned to that. And a couple things. First off, Chad, not only do you help me cover the Cubs, but you also own your own mortgage company, Modern Lending.
We do. Fortunate to do that. Blessed to do that. We've helped 10,000 families over the last 13 years. Myself and my team, over $3 billion of mortgages have been funded in that time. So whether it's purchasing, refinancing, rates have had a dip lately. If you want to reach out, even just pick my brain, ask a question. Maybe you're not in the market today, but you could be in the future. Cell phone there is on the screen, website, chadanderson.info. And no matter what Mick says, I promise you, I'm here working today. I'm working 2 jobs at once today. We're covering the Cubs, and then we're sending out pre-approvals at the same time, but we're having fun here.
All right. And then don't forget, the channel is brought to you by the Tennessee Smokies. Won their first championship in 45 years. Got to see Jared Banner and the rest of the guys that helped make that happen in the affiliate dinner yesterday, Jed Hoyer and all those guys. And so celebrating that, Smokies Baseball team store, check it out. And they got a bunch of great gear and right in time for Christmas and Hanukkah. We'll talk to you guys really soon.